So I'm driving because I had a bunch of errands to do today, and I just dropped my daughter off at her friend's house. And I was just thinking about this in the car, and I thought I'd record a video because why not? It just helps like process things. And although I will say the driving and videoing is a little bit harder because you instinctually want to look at the camera, and you probably shouldn't because it's not safe. So bear with me while I drive to my destination, and then I'll be able to be more present on the video. But anyway, what I want to say is like, so it's so strange. So I was thinking that, so I am an author, but I am a self-published author. And I published a book 2 years ago called How Do I Deal With My Emotions? And I know nowadays, like, you know, pretty much anybody can publish a book. Like, it's, you know, not rocket science. It does take, you know, some tenacity, I will say. It definitely takes, you know, just writing the book itself is where people get stuck. It's not that they can't do it and that they can't get it out there as a self-published author, because like I said, anybody, probably my dog, could do it as well. But it's the actual writing of the book that people get stuck on. It's like not understanding the steps. And then finally, like, you know, getting the book like out there is a whole other animal, and I'm not an expert in that at all. I would say that I'm still, you know, kicking my way through and learning and asking lots of questions and whatnot. But really the piece that I feel like people struggle with the most is just actually writing the book. And so when that's done, the rest of it, you know, you can get support with. But being a self-published author, it's so much easier because you can open a KDP account on Amazon, you throw your book out there, and then it's up to you to obviously like market it. It's up to you to promote it. It's up to you to talk about it. So when I knew nothing about book publishing when I first published my book. And I definitely had some help with like certain things, but what I found was when I went around to a couple of different local bookstores and was hoping where I was a local author, they would like put me in their bookstore. And a couple of them did, which I was really grateful for. But a couple of them, when they found out that I was on Amazon, I was a self-published author on Amazon, they were really turned off by that. And so this leads me to my next part of this. So when I approached Barnes & Noble, because of course, like, we all want to get into Barnes & Noble. We all want to get into those like big box stores, you know, like Barnes & Noble and like, you know, other stores like the paper store. We want to get into bigger, larger bookstores because people do still buy books from those stores. And Barnes & Noble is like one of the top ones. And so I approached Barnes & Noble when I first published, well, not when I first, but probably like 3 or 4 months, you know, into my book stuff. And they were just like not very forthcoming, like, about it. They didn't like the fact that I sold on Amazon, which was really kind of odd to me, because I was just like, why would that make a big deal? Like, why would that be a big deal just because I sell on Amazon? Like, I'm obviously coming to you guys because I want to sell in your store as well, or sell on your website. Why is it a big deal that I sell on Amazon? I'm still not clear why some of these bigger, like Target was another one too that was not a fan that I sold on Amazon. But like, who doesn't sell on Amazon anymore? Like, what author is not on Amazon? I'm just confused by this. And yes, like, it's easier when you are like, you're a celebrity and you have a larger social media following and you're an influencer and you have like, people are lining up to buy your book. Like Taylor Swift, you know, she puts a book out and the thing would be sold in like, before I could finish peeing. You know what I mean? Like, it's that quick. Or some big influencer puts out a book, they even have it ghostwritten and it's sold so quickly. And I don't think they care that it's from Amazon or not. But for someone like me, where like, I don't have a huge social media following, I'm not a celebrity, I'm not this big influencer, I actually did write my book, I feel like they're just kind of ghost you. They don't really want you to be in their store or whatever it is. And I'm confused by that because I'm just like, I would think they would welcome someone like me to like be in their store, especially like a local space. So anyway, I tried for about a year I tried for about 6 months, 7 months to get on the Barnes & Noble website. I had to go through different rigmarole to get on the website. So I finally was able to get on the website, and if anybody wants like step-by-step, I'm happy to share it like in a DM, but it's not something that I really want to share here because it's a little bit of a nuanced, it's nuanced and it's a little, just like not really that relevant or important. So anyway, I finally get on the Barnes & Noble website and I find that too, like the pricing is off. It's not super easy to navigate. So I need to go back and like fix some things, whatever. And I tried to get in the store and they flat out were like, no, you're not going to be in the store. And I was like, all right, whatever, that's fine. And then I was like, well, can I do a signing? And this was like during like COVID, because I wrote my book during COVID. So the year after COVID, like I understood they still were not doing book signings in the store. They were still had a lot of like, because of COVID, they had a lot of restrictions and they weren't doing in-person events. And that was like no big deal. I waited. I was told to call this person, to email this person. I did all that to get like on the wait list. So when they do open up events, I would be like one of the first ones that would get notified. They didn't. They ghosted me for months. Finally, I would go into the stores. I would talk to people. Some were very nice. They would give me some information. Some were not so forthcoming. And so it's been like a year-long process that I've been waiting to do any type of like book signing. I finally did get on the website, which was great. I was able to go to the store. They put my ISBN number in, and that was really cool. And I was able to leave a couple of copies of my book at the store. And just like, that was fun, take some pictures, whatever. That was great. But it wasn't like enough. I wanted to like have that event. I wanted to have the book signing, especially in Barnes & Noble. So I had been like, pondering, like, should I even reach back out? Like, it's been a year. They just don't seem like they're super interested. I don't think I'm going to reach back out. So on a whim, I like go into a Barnes & Noble location. I was like, you know what? My intuition's just telling me like to, go into the location and just like try to talk to someone. So I was like, all right, my intuition's leading me here. I'm going to do it. I'm going to go in. So I went in and I talked to some couple of really nice gentlemen that were very nice and talked to me and gave me some information and kind of validated like what I was coming from and kind of the frustration that I felt about being ghosted and not anybody really responding to me, or people that did respond to me were like, can you email this person? Can you email this person? And I am all for hard work. Like a lot of what I've done in building like my businesses, especially when I had like vendors or when I work with sponsorship, I had to do a lot of legwork to get into different sponsors. I mean, I've had, companies like Kind Bar sponsor me, UGG Australia, Lululemon, who else? Like, just like a Nordstrom. So I've had some pretty big name sponsors for my events and things like that. It was not easy task to get these sponsors. It took work. I didn't just like show up one time. And especially with UGG, like UGG was months and months and months and months of calling and emailing and red tape and back and forth and being led to this person, to the next person, to this person. And like, you have to keep some sort of perseverance. Like you have to be persuasive. You have to be persistent. Like I have the 3 Ps: persistence, persuasive, and progressive, right? You have to show that you're being progressive, like that things are moving along without them, that you're not just waiting in the wings for their yes, that you're still going on. Like you'll find someone else, like it's not a big deal, but you'd like to have them be a part of it. You really value their product or value their service or value their brand, and you want them to be a part of it. But without those Ps, you're probably not going to get it. It's not easy. So it can be discouraging. It can be hard to be up against, like, I consider, like, you know, a little person like me trying to break into a big box store, like Target, Walmart, Barnes and Nobles, like trying to break in there. That's not an easy thing. Like, there has to be value for them, and there has to be value for me, right? The work has to feel like, okay, it's worth this. And sometimes it doesn't. In the beginning, it doesn't always pay off. It doesn't always feel like it. If anyone is thinking about writing a book that's not someone that's like a celebrity, that doesn't have a huge following or a big influencer, here's my best advice is don't expect to make a lot of money on your book. It probably won't. It's a labor of love. I didn't put my book out to break the bank. Yes, I've made some good sales with my book, but I've put my book out there because I wrote it to share my story, bits of my story, a message, to share my method with the world, my trauma-informed method, that is, my lessons, my expertise, to showcase some of my client work that I've done and their transformation. You know, it's a self-help book, so it's there to support you, like, step by step. People have said to me, it's like having you in my back pocket. I always have you in my ear. Like, it's really important. But I didn't do it because I wanted some sort of fame from it, or I wanted some sort of, like, you know, I wanted to be this, like, big New York Times bestseller. I knew in the back of my mind that this book was probably not going to be that. This book is not super, like, it's very, I don't know, just like big writing, on the page. It's not like this, like, science book. It's not heavy in all the psychology or science, although I do talk about neuroscience and I do talk about my education with trauma and all that stuff, but I really try to, like, break it down for you so you understand it, because it was more important for me to talk your language, because that's how I speak it, versus this, like, very intellectual book that had a lot of, like, science-based stuff in it and psychological-based stuff in it. I didn't want that. That wasn't the purpose of the book for me. So therefore, I kind of knew in the back of my mind, like, this was probably going to be just, like, on Amazon and selling on Amazon. And, like, the fact that I got into Barnes and Noble was great, like, on the website. The fact that I've had a few local bookstores pick it up and sell it, that's been great. The fact that my local library wanted to do a book signing for me, like, all the little wins have been so instrumental, and I'm so grateful for them. But at the same time, I'm now, like, at a point I feel like in my life, in my career, a lot of things have shifted for me. My direction, although is similar, there's some changes that I've made. Now that I do the work in the schools, the trauma-informed method has taken on a life of itself. People are actually hiring me to teach them trauma-informed classroom, which is something that I'm very passionate about, because my whole mission is trauma-informed living, and that doesn't mean perfection. That means that we're just more aware of the presence of trauma, so we go about our life in a different way. We communicate in a different way. If we have those moments of reactivity, which I 100% do, we're able to go back and repair relationships. Like, there's just, it's, again, nuanced. There's a lot to it. But I also feel like it's so important to share. So the message in my book are all those things. But now that I'm creating this community and I'm creating the work that I'm doing with schools, and I'm trying to reach more schools, and I'm trying to reach more individuals that want to do this trauma-informed living, I feel like my book is a tool. And so I don't think I should just let it go and be like, you know what? It's probably not the best written book. It's probably not like a New York Times bestseller book, but at the end of the day, it's a tool that someone can use. It's a way of getting to know my work. It's like a stepping stone, right? I only hope to get better with each book or each thing that I do. Maybe it's not going to be a book. Like, I do have quite a bit of a book already written for relationships, and I'm very passionate about putting that out into the world. And I know in due time that will come out as well. But I feel just like this did, divine timing, this book came out. And if you want to know more about the behind the scenes of writing the book, behind the scenes of what I went through with the book, like the logistics of it, feel free to message me and I'm happy to share that with you, or I can do another video on that. But anyway, I'm still very confused by some of the responses that I've gotten, not even about the book. It's not like these people read the book and they said it's shit, we're not taking it. They never read the book. It's just that they're like, oh, you sell on Amazon? Well, like, we don't want to be a part of that. And for me, it's like, wow, that's kind of hard, because I wouldn't have a platform if I wouldn't have a place to sell this book if I didn't have Amazon. Like, not every bookstore is buying my book. You know what I mean? Like, not Barnes and Noble or big box stores. Like, that takes time. Like, unless I have a name, like a influencer name or a celebrity name behind me, in my perspective, it's not that easy and it's not going to happen that fast. So yeah, it's going to take time. So I'm grateful for Amazon, because it's given me such like a stepping stone. It's giving me a place where I can share my book with like the world, essentially, and make a profit and get my book out there, get my message out there, get reviews, get all the things, and then like step up into other things. So the fact that like somebody would like turn me away because I'm using really the only thing that I can use right now, that feels harsh to me. That's like, I'm going to punish you for using something that everyone else is using, but we don't want that. And I guess that they have every right to feel like that, and not everyone does. And I don't know if it's competition, if it's sales, or whatever it is, but I'm just happy that I was able to connect with someone at Barnes & Noble's that like got it and that validated like how I feel, and that now is willing to like meet me halfway and like support me like with setting me up with a little mini like tour of signings and like advocate for me. So the lesson here really is like, use the P's to your advantage and ask for support, share your story and where you are. And if people say no, that's part of the deal too. Like, rejection is part of the process, and I'm okay with rejection. I've had many, many people reject me, reject my work, reject my message, reject everything. I'm okay with that. What I'm not okay with is feeling like I have to go at it alone and there's no support, in the sense where it's like, okay, if you're saying no to me, why are you saying no? Like, what is your reasoning? Just someone ghosting you, to me, is not a reason. Now, there are reasons for people to ghost you, and that's fine, but it's not an acceptable reason for me. It's like, tell me what I can do to like make this happen, or tell me why you're not interested. And then at least that's a little closure and I can go on from that. I don't particularly do well with like being ghosted, only because I'm open to the possibility that like you might not want to do this. You might not want to be involved with the book. You might not want my work. You might not want to hire me. You might not, whatever the reason is, I'm okay with being like, cool, like at least we had this kind of conversation, rather than just like not getting a response and then having to do like double the work to figure out, well, what am I doing wrong, or what can I do better, or who can I connect with? So it was just nice to talk to someone that was like, yeah, you know what, I get it, I see you, trauma informed, I get it, I see you, and like, let's try to see how I can support you. Because sometimes it takes that other person that's like in the environment, that knows the environment, that knows what is required, or what is like most attractive to someone, like a book or a person coming in for a signing or whatever it is, and they can help you get there. So maybe you don't have what they need right now, but with a little bit of support and some guidance, you'll get there. And so that was my whole thing. It's like, I'm still confused about the whole Amazon thing. And please, if you catch this video, like, let me know what your thoughts on the whole Amazon thing is. But for me, I'm really grateful for it, because I have some place to sell my book. So that's really, really important. But yeah, I just wanted to share that with you. But I think when we talk about our goals, when we talk about things that we're doing, projects that we have, birthing into the world, it is like a labor of love. It's you're birthing something into the world. And it's not like things don't always happen just automatically. It depends on who you are, your status, who you know, right? Who you know is half the battle. I always say that. And, just keeping up with your own progression, because you're always in charge of your progression. Somebody can say no till the cows come home. You can choose to take that no and stop what you're doing and say, you know what, I'm being rejected. This is shit. I'm not doing it anymore. Like they're defining my work. They're defining this book. They're defining whatever it is. And so I'm going to allow their definition of this to be what it is, and I'm going to stop. Or you can keep progressing and keep building and then go back and say, this is still being done, whether I have your support or your yes or not. So like, can we make this work, or should I, go somewhere else? But I think when I see someone still progressing, regardless of what my stance is, that's attractive to me. It's like, wow, they didn't just take the no and like hide under the covers. They didn't let the rejection tear them down. They're still moving ahead. And sometimes I've had that reality where like I've had people come to me that want to work with me, that want to partner with me, that want to be a speaker at one of my events when I used to do events. And I would say, you're not the right person, or this isn't the right time, or whatever it is. And months later, I would see them blow up. And I'm like, damn, yeah, good for you. Like, you didn't need this event to like keep going. Like, you just needed the belief that you could do this. And now I kind of want you on my stage, like, because I saw your progression. So yeah, sometimes it does take a little progression. Sometimes someone's not ready. Sometimes you're not ready. The alignment isn't there. The attraction isn't there. But then when you see someone be like, keep going, it's like, it's attractive, it's sexy. So yeah, keep progressing no matter what, no matter who says no. Love you.